Hey, welcome to Talent Plus Title. I'm Jordan, you're a nerd of gold, and in this series I like to pitch books from Marvel and DC that I think should exist and the talent that should be working on them. In today's episode, I want to focus on a DC character, Jon Kent. Jon Kent is a character that I think has a lot more potential that we haven't really utilized since he's been aged up. I know a lot of fans still want him to go back to de-aged and be the same age as Damian Wayne, and I can understand that. There's partially a nostalgia factor, and also the fact that DC actually should have made more comics with them two as a pairing and kind of like the young kid adventure superhero comics out of them. But since Jon is aged up and there have been some comics with him as Superman, I think we should lean into that and therefore give him a team that is deserving of his potential. And in that case, I want to suggest Al Ewing and Hayden Sherman. Al Ewing is a writer I really like. Al Ewing started over at Marvel with his big superhero work with Avengers, and then worked his way all the way up to currently writing the Immortal Thor. He's done a lot of work, I'll put it here. I love basically every title he's written at Marvel. I think he's a great writer, and yeah, I think he's got what it takes to write a fantastic Superman story, because if you've read his work with the Avengers and more specifically with Blue Marvel, you'll understand why he is a prime candidate to write Superman stories. Now, Hayden Sherman, he's a illustrator that I've been really enjoying the work of lately. He's been killing it on Absolute Wonder Woman. Batman Dark Patterns is a book I need to catch up on, but every time I see the previews for it, I'm like, oh man, the brilliant layouts in this book. It just looks so good for a Batman title. He also did some work with Scott Snyder in the indie space with Dark Spaces, I believe it is, or Dungeons. I forget exactly which it is. I'll try to put it up here. But it was more about like exploring like real life things and like the horror of them. So yeah, that's really cool too. But yeah, you should check out Hayden Sherman's work. I think he's a fantastic artist, and I think he can bring something really unique to bring Superman to life with his art, because more of the color tones have been more muted with him, but I think if you switch the color palette to be a little lighter with him, I think it'll look absolutely brilliant with a Superman title. So yes, I want Al Ewing and Hayden Sherman to work on Jon Kent as a Superman title. I don't care what it's called, but I think that team would be able to make an absolutely brilliant Superman title. Let me know, would you read that book?